Hello everybody, my name is Naya and I'm the Black female engineer. I provide y'all with some tech, career, life content. And today, we are talking about something I've been talking about for a long time in my own circles, and that is quiet quitting. Because my oh my, gone are the days where I give 110%. So, what is quiet quitting? Let's start there. Quiet quitting is kind of what I just said. You no longer are giving 110% at your job. You're not quitting, you're not leaving, but while you're staying, you are staying within the bounds of your job description. You know what I mean? You're mentally letting go, quitting the idea that to be a good member of society, that means killing yourself for a job, during a job. I remember when I worked in finance, people would brag about how many hours they put in, about how they slept at 4 a.m. and are here back at 6, and that would be like this token, this kind of thing that seems to have real monetary value. But it's like, why did you do that? You're getting paid just the same. So what's that about? But man, long gone are those days, at least for me and some like-minded people. I myself was born outside of the United States, and I always had the idea that to succeed in this life, that meant going to school, getting a good education, and getting a great job, and being the best employee at that job. That is what made your life worthwhile, you know? And I bought into this. I really did. I remember I was one of the first of my friends to get an internship out of college at a big 4 accounting firm as a sophomore. Do you know, that was that was a big deal. Then the next year I had an internship at a big 5 bank. And so I spent a good amount of my adolescence with this idea of, for my life to have any real value, it needs to somehow be tied back to work and what I do 9 to 5. So what happened? Because it seems like that was the sentiment of a lot of people my age. What happened? Well, yeah, that happened. COVID happened, and everything all of a sudden just stopped. All of a sudden, we don't know what tomorrow looks like. I mean, truly, I don't know about you. I don't know, maybe you were a doctor in Fauci's office, but I didn't know what tomorrow looked like day by day for a year and a half. And that's terrifying. Especially, I am honestly so blessed that nobody in my family or those I cared about were directly impacted in a devastating way by COVID-19, but so many people and so many families were. And so COVID gave all of us as a society the opportunity to reflect, the opportunity to sit back and think on what we find most important in this life. Because as it turns out, it's not forever. On top of that, we are now seeing that the rewards that once were offered to the people who worked hard and picked the extra shift and worked overtime, they're no longer here. They have disappeared. What rewards? For example, buying a house. That's a big one. I personally have been talking about and have been upset about, because I've always wanted to own a home. Did you know that right now in 2022, the average home price is $400,000? Now, depending on where you are, that may not seem crazy, but when you think about how that is a 30% increase from last year, what? That's not sustainable. Last year, the average home price was a little over $300,000. That means most people, most of America, even if they put in double shifts, even if they find a side hustle, will not be able to afford a house anytime truly soon. It wasn't that long ago that tech experienced one of the biggest layoffs in the recent years this last spring and summer. So many companies have been laying off their tech workers and their whole teams and departments. And yet you expect me to hold this company up with such like admiration and 110%. No, like what? So what does quiet quitting look like in practice? Like actually what does it look like? I to be honest, I kind of wish it was a different name, because the idea of quiet quitting, I think it is, what's that word for it's not being represented correctly? Like it creates assumptions that aren't correct to the name. I'm gonna know the word, and I know y'all are yelling at me saying the word that it is, and I cannot think of it. I can't think of the word. But to me, when I hear quiet quitting, I think of leaving without telling anybody. You know what I mean? I think slowly packing up your laptop and leaving and just never showing up again. Never answering your phone, never answering your email, just never showing up again. That's what I hear when I hear quiet quitting. And that's not what that is. It doesn't mean being a bad worker. It doesn't mean leaving everything and everybody. That's not what quiet quitting means. Quiet quitting in practice is doing your job. Quiet quitting in practice is not, okay, here, actually, I'll edit that. It's not doing your job. It's doing the job you were hired to do, not the job they now have created because it's been X amount of months and now like, oh, here's more work and more work and more work and oh, but it's your job. No, that's not the job I was hired to do with this pay stub of $10 an hour. That's not what you hired me to do. Whew, I need to calm down. I'm getting revved up. I'm getting really revved up here. I get so upset. Like, I seriously get so upset because, like, I feel like it's only corporate where this expectation of giving your all and receiving pennies back and receiving just crumbs back is so widely accepted as, like, the correct thing. Like, I get so mad because how many times do we tell our friends, do we tell our loved ones, like, oh, you're putting X, Y, and Z in the relationship and you're not getting X, Y, and Z back? Leave. Or that's not a good friendship. That's not a good relationship. Why the hell are you staying? And yet in corporate, we're expected to do that. And if we don't do that, we're a bad worker. Like, I get so annoyed by that. But to get back on track, quiet quitting is simply doing the job you're hired to do. If it's said on your job description or it was understood between you and your manager that your job is 9 to 5, why are you showing up at 8:30? Why are you showing up at 8? Hell, why are you showing up at 8:45? Your job is 9 to 5, be there 9 to 5. You get a 30-minute lunch, be at lunch for the whole 30 minutes and don't answer your phone from your boss, from your manager and everything, unless it's a true emergency. Don't, like, they can deal without you for 30 more minutes. That is what quiet quitting is. No more, if you're earlier on time, you're on time. No more of that. And it's so funny because I'm thinking about examples where maybe I was in a company culture that really drilled into, like, we must do X, Y, and Z above, even though you're getting paid nothing, or even if you are getting paid something, it's still not what the agreement was in terms of, hey, we agreed this is the job I would do. And one of the examples I have is I used to work, I'll drop the name here. I actually don't care that much. I used to work at EY as an intern. And at EY, I was a an audit / tax intern. I don't even remember. But my team worked at a single conference table because they would have to go to their clients, like the teams would have to go to the client site. A lot of times the clients just had a big conference room for them to work at, which meant you were working at the same table as your boss and your manager and your coworker and your intern. You all were in this big long table. At lunch, everyone would eat their lunch at that table and like eat their lunch while like doing work. No. Even then, even at the mere age of 18 years old, I was like, nah, fam, like, no, that's a big no for me. And so I would get up, walk across the room at noon, as you should, walk across the room, get in my car and go. and go somewhere for lunch. Sometimes dead serious. Sometimes I wouldn't even have anywhere to go because I brought a lunch. And I would simply go in the car and eat in my car, simply for the peace of it. Because what am I supposed to do? Like sit in this conference table and talk to no one and have no true break. It's important in general to just have a break, to have a moment to breathe. And now I can't even have that. Oh no, you got me messed up if you think I'm not going to sit in my car instead of handling being part of this situation. No, not at all. Real quick, please know I'm not saying anything bad about EY at all. I'm just sharing my experience. I really liked my team. I really liked my manager. It was chill. It was real. I don't work there anymore. That's just something to share because, transparency and it's not that deep. And so how can you implement quiet quitting in your own day-to-day, in your own 9 to 5? That'll actually contribute to one, a better life-work balance, but also just a better 9 to 5 in general. One of my favorite tips for this is before you get assigned any extra work, let's say you already are juggling a couple of things. They're all within your job description, but things are just, they're juggling around and you're getting stressed because deadlines are coming and it's just a lot. Now your manager comes in and says, hey, add this to the list, pretty please, and scurries off. Instead of just taking that and being like, shoot, okay, guess I'm gonna have to put more unpaid hours to complete this and that really sucks, and crying to yourself at your desk about it, instead of just taking that, say, hey, okay, so you also want this done? And they'd be like, yes. So then say, okay, cool, here are the things I'm currently working on. What exactly? And I sound passive aggressive right now because I'm very riled up, but this would not be in a passive aggressive way at all. But you'd be like, okay, cool, here are the things I'm working on right now. Could you let me know which things I should deprioritize in order to get this done by the timeline you want? Done. Do you see how easy that is? It's their job as a manager to help you succeed at your job. And asking questions like these, it lets them know, okay, I'm juggling X, Y, and Z right now, and I'm the kind of worker who wants to make sure I provide you the correct product, a good product, even though it may not be exceptional because you don't pay me for that, but it's a good product. I care about that. What should I put off to the side for the time being in order to get to the thing that you now want me to work on? That is a more than okay question. And it's also a question that in the future will help the manager realize okay, let me make sure that this person does have the capacity to accomplish X, Y, and Z. A code specific example is making sure that the tickets you either create for yourself or your managers are creating for you, make sure that they are tickets that are small. Don't be creating tickets or don't accept tickets that are create this new page, create a new home screen page. That to me truly sounds like at least 10 tickets, because we need, likely that home screen has a navigation bar, likely it has some images, it has maybe some animation effects when you scroll, it has a footer, it has a contact me section, it has all of these different things. So you need to create tickets for each single chunk there. This is so important for so many different reasons, not just the quiet quitting part of things, but also just productivity. Because instead of spending X amount of days or weeks on this big thing and having to say to your boss every single day, oh, I'm still working on it, and there's really nothing for them to see that you've accomplished. Now, every day or every other day, you come to them with a completed task. You did the nav bar, you did the body, you did the contact me section, you did all of these different things, and now you, your coworkers, and your boss can all recognize that progress is being made, rather than simply relying on your word because everything had been previously put in just one ticket, which is going to take weeks to accomplish. So when things are in one ticket like that, it also creates this heightened sense of urgency. And we, again, don't want that. In this quiet quitting era, we don't want this false sense of things need to be done yesterday. We don't want that. Let's allow work to be the thing that supplements the life we want to live, not what hinders it. Okay, y'all? And I hope it's very clear that, again, I'm not advocating being a bad worker. I'm advocating you doing the job you are hired to do. and getting paid for the job you're hired to do. But yeah, that's it, y'all. Let me know what y'all think below. Have you heard about quiet quitting? Is this the first time? What are your thoughts? And let's just chat. So thanks, y'all, for being here, and I'll see you next week. Bye.